If you move from modern D&D to the OSR, the first thing you lose is actually the first thing you use probably most often, and that's the skill check. And after that loss, everything changes. Now, this isn't about which is better. All right, we can have that discussion. Find me at a con. We'll share a beer. This is about how the two game styles think differently. Modern D&D, D&D 2014, 2024, D&D forever, it's about character skill. The OSR, it's about player skill. For a 5e player, the sheet tells you what your character can do. I played in a 5e game in a convention a couple of years ago at ShireCon, and there was 8 sheets to my character sheet. For an OSR player, the sheet tells you what your character is. Your brain, your thinking, does the rest. So let's break this down for you, okay? Modern D&D, the era of the skill check. 5e runs on abstraction and safety. You roll a d20, you add a modifier, you hit a DC. Simple, right? Something that you can explain to anybody. It's obviously a game function. For example, I check for traps. Well, roll your perception, DC 15. Good roll, you find it. Bad roll, you don't. Done. Case in point, I ran Swords of Wizardry Light for a group at GaryCon in 2019, I guess. DM for the 5e group didn't show up, so I had to go to the table with Swords of Wizardry Light and say, "That's what you got." And 7 out of 8 players stayed. 5e players through and through. One passerby jumped in and rolled up characters, and we played the Mouth of Doom from Rappahatnock with 3D terrain. It was a nice setup. And the first half an hour was a lot of me saying, or giving feedback to my players. I searched the room. Well, tell me what you're doing. Well, what do I roll? No, tell me what you're doing. Well, what do I roll? Tell me what you're doing. I think he's lying. I roll my detect lie or whatever the heck the skill was. I'm like, no. Why do you think he's lying? I intimidate. I roll an 18. I go, no, tell me how you're intimidating. Went on for about half an hour, but then most of my group, they grokked it. Right? They understood. And they started correcting the one player who was stuck on stupid. And they would tell him, no, explain to him what you're doing. Don't just say, I'm rolling. Explain. So, what really happens when the player makes a successful roll or not? Bad roll, good roll, to, I don't know, find traps. What really happened? The player didn't solve anything. The character sheet did, right? That's clean. It's easy, and it's a bit sterile. Players stop describing actions. They just press the roll button, or they pick up their die and they roll it. And yeah, I'm not saying the O.S.R doesn't require rolls. Certainly does. It's a game. There's a random aspect to it. But the more you tell your DM, what you're doing in an O.S.R game, the less this decides to fate. So, O.S.R, player skill and procedures, right? Old school games flip the script on the head. There's no perception skill, okay? You've got description and procedure, and I will stress this. A bad GM doesn't give you the description so you can effectively be a good player. I can't stress it enough. As a GM in an OSR old school style game, you got to be a strong, skilled GM to make sure you're giving your players what they need. For example, I check the door, player, right? I seams, hinges, floor. Okay, takes one turn, 10 minutes. You've used 10 minutes on your torch. After that, roll a 1 in 6 for a secret door. However, there's no perception bonus, no modifiers, just cost and time. Cleverness, because maybe you go, I'm searching for secret doors, right? It's a regular door. I'm searching for secret doors. Maybe I pour some water on the floor or on the wall. I wet the wall. I use that chalk dust that I've been holding on to, or flour. Maybe I'm looking for cracks. All these things is playing outside the box. Players in OSR learn to think. If you haven't played with Greg Gillespie, one of his Dragon Slayer games, trust me, he will make you think. The more you tell him what your character is doing, likely the better off your character is going to be. Players need to start saying things like, I pour water at the base and see if it drains. But my deal back in the day was my character would use the opportunities to find secret doors to empty their bladder. Hey, better than carrying that weight around, right? But that's OSR play. And what's the symbol of OSR play, right? What's that joke about the OSR? It's the mighty 10-foot pole. It's not gear, it's a philosophy. It's not dice rolling, it's smart play. I tap in front of me with my 10-foot pole. What are you trying to find out? You're trying to find traps, right? You're trying to find pit traps. Maybe you're trying to find a hollow sound. Maybe you're tapping. You're playing smart. You're not just relying on this. So let's talk the ownership of success. In 5e, success feels like your character's success, right? Your character is a bunch of stats. You built the stats, you rolled high, you picked the skills, you picked the feats. In the O.S.R, success feels like, well, yours. You thought to wedge the door. The iron spikes are there for a reason, right? You chose the right risk. Risk versus reward. That's engagement. That's retention at the table, right? You bring players back because they are not just rolling dice, they are active participants in the game session. What about the stakes? On 5e, failure means you missed information. In the O.S.R, failure means you burned off torch time and wandering monster checks. It's a beautiful thing, right? You know, as a DM, I don't mind grabbing my D6 and rolling some wandering monster checks. Because, well, smart play is a balance of I do X, Y, and Z, but that's going to mean more of these wandering monsters. In the O.S.R, your time spent is essentially your hit points, right? You're protecting them by finding the traps, by thinking out of the box. In the O.S.R, your chances to find a trap and disarm it is minimal into your high levels. If you're rolling with just dice, but think out of the box, the dice don't even come out into play. When you find the hidden door, you didn't roll it, generally speaking. You earned it. You thought out of the box. So, where does it put us? Modern D&D uses skill checks, so I guess everyone is competent. O.S.R takes off those training wheels. O.S.R makes you a better player. And I would argue even that if you play some OSR gaming and you go back to 5e, you'll be a better 5e player because you're no longer reliant upon the crutches. And that's often why 5e players feel lost in the OSR and why 5e players feel boxed in by 5e. So here's your challenge. Your next 5e session, ban perception, ban insight, investigation, ban those skills that will keep you from using this. And watch what happens. Your players will start describing actions again, and before long, somebody will whisper, maybe I should buy a 10-foot pole. Maybe you should. So, folks, if you enjoy this OSR 5e deep dive, smash the subscribe button. It keeps this channel going. It keeps the room lit. Our torches burning. If you want to dive deeper into the tavern, listen, go to the post section on this channel. We have free material for you to download just for being here. And there's a little bit more free material behind the membership. That's our Tenkars Minions community. $1.99 a month gets you behind the bar, so to speak. Early access to videos like this, some surveys, and you support this channel. Grab a seat at the table. Keep the OSR spirit alive. And I'll see you next time. And remember, your best stat in an OSR game isn't one of those 6. It's your brain. Again, think out of the box, and you're more likely to succeed. All right, folks. God